Someone had liquid diarrhea in the artist alley.
Oh, is that it?
We are going to be reading Reddit-style Artist Alley horror stories from you guys. Please feel free to submit your own horror stories down below, as there is a form in the link in the description.
My name is Izzy. I do art and video editing for you.
Inkwell slave.
I'm Sang. Lamb art. I'm just another background artist who also do convention. Story time.
This story is by Kaliva. Japan Expo, July 13th, 2024, which is an event in Paris. Yeah, Japan Expo, I believe, is the largest European convention. Yeah, it's not Dokumi.
I thought it was Dokumi.
Dokumi, I think, is second or, like, tied for third in attendance.
Even with like 1,500 artists? How big's the other one?
Over, like, 200,000 attendees. I don't know how big the Artist Alley is. I do know their Artist Alley is a little weird, as in, if you're in the Artist Alley, you're considered not professional, and then there's Pro Row or something, which is like more of our Artist Alley like setup. But if you're in their non-Pro Row Artist Alley, you can't sell anything over, like, I believe 12 euros. So, like, everybody who I've talked to have done it say that, like, it is absolutely, like, not worth it. You're only gonna be selling postcards, I guess. You can't bring any of your higher expense items.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I've not been. I know FIFA suggested I do it, but they were like, no, definitely do Pro Row. So, Japan Expo, maybe I'll apply to you at some point, but not that section. Anyway, okay. Sorry, I got off track. Someone had liquid diarrhea in the Artist Alley.
Oh, is that it?
No. Close to our booth, right in the middle of the side aisle where we were in. It was packed with people, and literally nobody noticed who did it or how. We only noticed the poop because of the strong acidic smell that started assaulting our noses. I immediately left my booth to let the staff know, showed them the exact spot of the incident on the map, and they said they would send a cleaner. However, this specific year, the Artist Alley was poorly signposted and as a result, hard to navigate. So the cleaner took over.
Bless you.
I was waiting for him to fuck up on reading so I can sneeze.
So the cleaner took over an hour to find the right spot. During the time, the artist right next to the poop puddle had to ask the local bakery for napkins in order to start cleaning it themselves, since it was completely ruining their business, and because visitors wouldn't notice it and would step on it and spread it more and more. I'm lucky that my booth wasn't directly affected despite its proximity to the incident. It happened so fast and discreetly that a few of us even started wondering if it was put here on purpose via a container. Creators nearby were queer, so it could have been targeted. And even though I'm still deathly curious and baffled about the fact that not a single soul seemed to have witnessed it happen.
Well, if they don't do it with the container, they have to be a very fast pooper.
Oh,
That's horrible.
Okay, is it carpet or is it concrete?
That's
the real question.
oh.
This story actually makes me sick. I cannot imagine it.
2024, so this was last year. A lot of cons have upgraded to carpet. Like, no cons used to have carpet, but, like, it's definitely a newer thing. So, yeah, that's a good question.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I was reminded of the story of the person who, like, diarrheaed on a plane or a bus or something.
I remember that story.
Or was it both?
I remember the plane one that it had to divert, like, and land because it was so bad. It was just, like, through the aisles.
Yeah,
Like, they didn't make it to the lavatory. Gimme swords? Give me your swords? Gimme swords? It's on the screen. I'm so sorry. Thank you for submitting. Not technically a con, but an outdoor vending event. Event would take place in the evening, rain or shine. It was clear that a storm was coming in during the setup time, which was around 3 to 4. So I could either wait it out or set up after, but who knows how long that would take, since it takes me a while to set up. I took the chance, and after getting set up, the rain came, and the wind, and the flash flood. They put me on the corner down a street that pretty much turned into a wind tunnel. My tent blew away, that was completely destroyed, and it took my display with it, dumping all my earnings and prints into 4-inch rushing water. The event hadn't even started yet, and all my stuff was in the water floating down the street. And I had MegaCon in 2 weeks, which is a pretty large con in Florida. There was nothing else to do but go home crying, which was even more difficult now because the wheels on my dolly had broken earlier due to the cobblestone on the street.
Outdoor event is brutal.
I avoid outdoor events with every fiber of my being. This is a great photo, though.
Oh.
Oh no. no.
It's like so wet.
Yeah, good action shot. Really captures the story. Oh no.
Yeah, sometime when you're like in the middle of it, you don't remember to take a photo.
Yeah.
Because I kind of remember when we entered AX and your booth was like destroyed, you start fixing and I was like, stop, let me take a photo. I took a photo and I was like, okay, go ahead, fix your booth.
Yeah, because the hall was about to open, so I was like, just like in rush mode, I was like, we have to get set up. Also, my booth got hit by a vehicle in the middle of the night at AX a couple of years ago. And we showed up and it clearly something had smashed into it and ran all the other booths, like my booth, into a bunch of other booths, and they were like completely out of line.
Yeah, there was like a few booths that all had stuff like fallen to the front and like everything was in the aisle.
Yeah, my booth, we probably lost about $1,000 worth of merchandise, and I had, Sang luckily had extra displays to give me. I had my like really strong pole system up, which survived, but all the stuff like sitting on the table was pretty fucked. The people next to me, they had the convention cubes, and their entire setup was on the ground. By the time we got there, they had most of it fixed, but they told me that everything was on the ground because it hit us at an angle. So the person to like my left was fine, but everybody, like the entire row to my right, got pushed. Yeah.
Your luggage was like being pushed out too, and it was like open and everything.
Yeah. And it looked like somebody had like stuffed a ton of the stuff from the table that had fallen under my table. Like we weren't gonna figure it out, even though it like wasn't even like in line where it was supposed to be.
It's like, what could have possibly happened here?
Yeah. Anywho, Anime Expo, fun times. It went much smoother this year.
That's good. Good. It did go pretty smooth.
Not quite as bad as everything being taken away in a flash flood, though.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Insane. I feel you.
You've had all your stuff blow away, but I don't think it was raining, right?
Oh no, it's the local one here. Remember when I had 3Con back-to-back and it was the middle one that was outdoor local here? We did set up, we went home, and then the next day, which is the first day, we came in and everything was being rained on because all the gap on the side of the tent was like open and there was just like water dripping down. And there was one hole on the top of the tent right over my table that was dripping down rain straight onto everything. And it was like, I show up and I was like, I regret everything. I regret doing this show. It was like the cat, this one, it was like soaked. It would start warping and I got really sad because I really love this guy. He survived. He's not in frame, but
he's like partially. Wait, where is
We
it?
both. Oh no, it's in your frame. Moral of the story: don't do outdoor events. And if you do outdoor events, make sure the table's cheap because that shit risky.
I will say there's one thing when I show up that morning, it was flash flooding too, so water was like 3 inches above like the floor, and they provide electricity, so you see the wiring going like underwater. And I was like, I don't really know what to do with that, so I just like stayed away from the water because I'm like, I don't know how to fish that thing out because they were wiring all the booths together and it was like against the sidewalk, and that's where it was flooding.
Can you get like very badly electrocuted by that?
I don't know.
Okay, this one's by Danyan Street Art. Madman Anime Festival, Sydney, 2018.
International.
Okay, this story is about the accommodations I stayed at during my first solo interstate convention as an artist, a big step forward in my independence and career. Originally, I was meant to share an Airbnb with a friend to keep things affordable. They arrived before me and called me immediately. Panicked, they said they could hear someone and promptly bailed, leaving me on my own with nowhere else to go. I had no choice but to stay in this place I'd already booked. That first night was uneventful. I didn't hear or see anything suspicious, but the next morning is when things got weird. I stepped out to grab some breakfast since the kitchen was disgusting. Nothing like the clean, polished vision shown in the listing photos. When I came back with my takeaway and sat in the kitchen, I suddenly heard a sliding door open, but I couldn't see where the sound was coming from. Then, to my complete shock, a man climbed out from behind the fridge.
What the heck?
It turned out the host lived in a hidden bedroom behind the kitchen fridge, a literal secret door. I was stunned and honestly creeped out, but like any deranged person trying to keep it together, I locked myself in my bedroom each night and just powered through it until it was time to head to the airport. As soon as I left, I called Airbnb and demanded a refund.
Yeah,
wow,
that is scary.
That's horrible. That's like everything could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a show. I've noticed that there's like hosts that do this sometimes. sometimes. They're like two family houses, but they say like it's one house and that it's empty, and they're like connected sometimes. There was an Airbnb at MegaCon, and they're like, you get the whole house, nobody's living there, blah blah blah, you know, the normal. But when we get there, clearly there's like an apartment in the basement, and then there's a door that clearly leads from that apartment to like
The basement.
to the basement that was locked. They, after we like were like, what's going on, because we could hear somebody, we like looked around and they had their own exit out in the back, so we decided that like whatever was fine. They never were creepy or came up, but I was super annoyed that it wasn't like specified in the listing, because they could easily like walk on up in the middle of the night and be wackos.
Right?
Yeah, we do convention and we have cash on us, and it's
Yeah.
just not the most comfortable when you just like found out that.
Yeah, and when you don't disclose something like that, already it's kind of a red flag.
Yeah, like
So
if you had been transparent, it's a different story.
Yeah, I don't think we would have cared, honestly. But yeah, that's terrifying. There is no follow-up because this is not Reddit.
No update.
Dang it.
But yeah, I wonder if they gave him the refund even though they stayed there the whole time. I know Airbnb can be a bit finicky.
It's like one thing to have like a separate door leading down into a basement versus a door behind the fridge.
Yeah, that's a different level.
It's like they're like intentionally hiding it. So interesting. But then they climbed out when they were there. Like, I want more information. Send me more information. Follow up next episode. Please. Did they like acknowledge you? Did like what happened?
Yeah, what's that interaction like?
Give us the deets.
Give us the deets.
The Katsu Airbnb we were at were also kind of weird. It was a bit farther away from the con, and then it was like a 3-bedroom. They claim that they can host 7 people with 1 bathroom.
They always do this. They always like add like 2 extra people. They're like, there's floor space for 7 people, even though there's 3 beds.
Yeah, so it was like 3 of the bedroom. They were all taken, and then me and my assistant at the time was Spencer. We got left at like the first floor, and everyone's in the bedroom upstairs. One of the bed was taken by a couple, and when they jumped in bed, they realized it was 2 twin beds pushed together to make 1 bed.
Japan! Japan!
But the downstairs was terrible. My bed had a sunlight directly at my face. Every morning I
Dude.
wake up with that lighting on my face. I'm just like, oh, please.
Did you get sunburnt at all from that?
I don't get sunburned very easily.
Vietnamese. They bathe in it.
True. But also, so the house has 2 entrances. The back entrance was to the sketchy alley that people like lingers around, and they were being weird. And one of the night I was there, if you move around on camera, the camera will say, just so you know, you're being recorded. And I hear that at 3 a.m. and I'm like,
hell
oh,
no.
kill me. Or that I'm gonna die tonight.
I think you called me like that night and was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll book you another hotel. But you were like so far through it, I think you just like pushed through it.
Spencer was also like, because we were on the same floor, we were in different section. He was in the front living room and I was in the back room. But he was like, okay, I'll just like put my mattress in front of the door. So if they try to open, at least they'll hit the air mattress.
I mean, that was nice of him.
Yeah, he was being really nice, yeah.
Lightbox 2022. This is my Meet My Hero story. A few years ago, I was exhibiting at Lightbox Expo. One of the artists I really liked was doing a portfolio review, so I waited in line for it before the show started. I took a lot of his online classes and am a big fan of his work. I even asked to take a photo with him, LOL. He was being very complimentary during the portfolio review. He said any production team would be lucky to have me on their team, so I was feeling really good about our interaction. Later that day, he was walking around Artist Alley and briefly stopped at my booth. I said hi and gave him a small print for free. He looked so confused and I realized he didn't remember me at all, even though he was looking at my portfolio only a few hours earlier. I was pretty embarrassed. Then he takes a few steps over and saw my boyfriend's booth. He was stunned and showered my boyfriend with praise. At the end of the day, as we were exiting the con hall, we crossed paths with him again. He said hi to my boyfriend and I was like, damn, wonder what that's like, being remembered. So the artist for this story is Sang Lamb.
What?
That's me, yeah. It was like, man, I remember that interaction where I was like, oh, just thanks for stopping by, and then I gave him a print, and then he's like, what? And And I was like, oh god, I'm gonna jump in a hole and die.
No.
And then he like went over to Dustin's booth and he was like, you're so good at painting! Oh my god, this is amazing! This is the best thing ever!
This guy was great.
He was hyping Dustin up so much. And I just looked over like, you didn't take his class. You didn't even wait for the portfolio review.
Simps never get what they want. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, when we exit, he was like, hey, Dustin, have a good night or something. And I was like, what's it like being remembered, Dustin?
This is so sad.
It's pretty good.
That is so sad.
Dustin didn't even know who he was.
Damn.
I know who he is now. Love that guy.
So annoying.
He knows who you are.
Great art too, by the way. Friends for life. OhioCon 2025. So there was a lot of controversy over the show. I might not have all the details on that, but because we didn't go that year, we had already moved to.
Out of Columbus.
I used to teach in Ohio for like a year. So we went to OhioCon and it was good back in the day. Ohio 2025. This is a short one. Had a person feel relieved that I didn't have a barcode on my giant art book. I thought they were happy to see an independent published book, but I learned that they were relieved because barcodes are the language of the devil. Period. Whole story.
What?
So I guess they don't buy books with barcodes because that's the language of the devil.
It's like the Monster Energy drinks. How people thought it was like, oh, is this the satanic symbol or whatever?
Yeah, and this was from Von Art.
He just told me this before the video.
Oh, this story?
Yeah. And I asked him, does QR code count? Because at every restaurant there's a QR code.
Yeah. Oh, now they can't eat either. Damn, the devil's in everything.
The devil's starving them to death.
Anywho. This one is from Anonymous. I made plushes at the time. A kid said she wanted one and her mom told her she can make one herself instead of buying one. She then proceeded to take pictures of my plushie as a design reference. So that's the whole story.
That feels icky.
Yeah, I think I've not had that. Well, I also allow photos at my booth, so, you know, I don't know why they're taking photos. But all my stuff's online, so if you really, like, want to copy me, I guess you have access to. Please don't. But I have found other artists in the hall sneaking behind my booth at, like, 6 a.m. in the morning. This has happened twice, actually. But, yeah, there was one that was, like, really aggressive, where somebody was just, like, behind my booth, like, with a camera, like taking pictures of our like setup and stuff, because we have pretty unique setup. I'm also very open about how to make it, so it's like you could have just asked. But yeah, that did not give me a great feeling, especially from like a fellow artist who had a table at the event.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, the problem is even though they're ticketed events, so they're not technically a public event, it's like such a public setting. I think it's really like if you do an event, there's photos of you somewhere online. Protect yourself, obviously, but I know a lot of the like fan artists don't want photos because they're worried about like companies coming after them, so they don't put like their fan art online. Anywho, San Diego Comic-Con, July 2010, so 15 years ago.
Damn.
How old were you, Izzy?
I was like 9.
There was a baby.
I'm really baby.
I was of age at that point. But, okay, anywho. I assisted my partner at his booth every year. One year when I took a bathroom break, I saw down the alley from our booth a giveaway prize being offered that was a chance to look up the skirt of a model who was not wearing underwear. Men were all over the place trying to get their shot at seeing up her skirt while she occasionally lifted it as a teaser. Puke emoji, laughing crying emoji.
Oh my god.
Wait, so this wasn't in like an 18 up section, this was just...
I don't think San Diego has an 18 up section.
Oh, right. Oh.
I mean, it's 2010. I wasn't at San Diego in 2010, but from what I can remember, I don't, unless it's something they got rid of.
Dude, different time.
Different time, yeah.
For sure.
And they said they were in the artist alley. There's definitely not an 18 plus section near the artist alley.
I mean, on an average artist table, I think a lot of like the comic book crowd art is pretty risque already.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
But this is a living girl. This is a real person. I have a option in the forms to add a photo, and they said I was too horrified to take a photo. Thank you.
Keep it in your memory.
Yeah, keep it in your memory. Thanks for sharing with the class.
Yes.
Thanks for not posting photos.
When I went to Dokami, my friend Tigil, who's a local to Europe, was going to assist me at the show. So beforehand, he was sending me like screen caps of like the rules from the handbook, because I don't read. And there was some interesting ones in there. He sent me one that was like no face sitting, no charging customers to smash their face into your tits. And we were like,
Face sitting. What does that even mean?
And apparently these were new rules that year. They were like emphasized. They were like, new this year. You cannot like charge for these services. And we were so confused. We were like, why would you need this to be a rule? And then I got to Dokumi and I understood, which is an awesome show, but they have a whole hall for the 18 plus section, which normally is very uninteresting at like US shows. But, you know, I go walking through the 18 plus section and there is just rows of cosplayers that have their own booth that are in the skimpiest outfits. But that's not even like the weirdest part. In their booth, which was decorated with photos of said model, some of which being completely nude and like softcore pornography, and these models would let people like come into their booth to take photos with them, with obviously like them naked in the background. It was so awkward walking through this section. Oh, this one's from Tigil. Oh, this is a long one. Oh my god. Okay. Fax Springs 2025, April 5th, Belgium. Hello, my name is Tigil. I'm a Belgian artist who makes pencil sketch prints in bronze foiling. Earlier this year, I was attending the convention Fax, one of the bigger cons here in Belgium. I had, as usual, a booth in the artist alley, and things were going pretty well at first. However, things took a turn when I got traumatized for life by a visitor showing me an explicit photo of his girlfriend. It all started by the couple, one male, one female, walking past my booth and just calmly looking over the prints I have on display. The girl suddenly stopped abruptly and dramatically in her tracks and pointed at one of my pieces. She turns to her boyfriend and exclaims, "Look, babe, I know exactly what I'm in the mood for tonight." For context, none of my art is explicit or sexual or pornographic in any way. Or at least that's what I thought. I do have some elegant, artistically nude figures, but nothing that would be deemed not safe for work. I was a bit confused by the comment, and while trying to figure out what she possibly could mean, her boyfriend started laughing with a type of chuckle that would creep out Hannibal Lecter. He goes on to say, "Ah, yes, perfect. I see what you mean." By this point, I had figured out that the print she was pointing at was my Forbidden Flower piece. It depicts a girl hanging upside down in midair, trying to reach a magical flower surrounded by thorns down below. She is reaching out, but it being held back by a magical spell, so she's unable to make contact with the flower. The spell is physically stopping her, and yes, it looks like rope wrapping around her. Reading this aloud, I can see how it can be perceived a certain way, but that was definitely not my intention when creating it. The guy goes on to say, way too loudly for being at a con with children running around, something along the lines of, "I love me a bit of bonges and shibari." You know what this says, right?
Shibari?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
What is shibari?
Educate us.
Aw, what the heck? It's like you see like the red rope, like the...
Oh, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, it's like the name of the type of rope.
The art of...
The art
I see,
of
I
the
see.
bondage.
I've been educated, thank you.
Why do I know this?
Exposed! I know what kind of yao you read now.
I'm pretty stunned at this point, but it became awkward pretty fast. I let out a nervous fake chuckle to ease the tension a bit. He doesn't stop there, however, and suddenly starts a full-blown monologue about why he loves tying up his girlfriend. Honestly, I can't recall what exactly the guy said for the next 5 minutes, because by this point...
Perhaps dissociating?
I was dissociating from shock. Don't get me wrong, I don't judge people for their kinks, and I'm far from a prude person, but this came so out of left field and caught me totally off guard. I didn't expect one of my pieces to spark this type of conversation, let alone from a stranger at a convention. If at any point I thought, well, I can't get any more awkward than this, I was very wrong, because he proceeds to take out his phone and very unpromptly, without warning, he pulls up an image and shows me a photograph of his girlfriend fully naked, all tied up with rope, kneeling on the floor. All ability of speech left my body as I moved my mouth open and closed like a fish, not knowing how to respond to this. The girlfriend didn't seem to mind that her boyfriend just showed a total stranger a picture of her butt-ass naked body without asking her consent first. On the contrary, she was laughing loudly at the situation. Shortly after, they just moved on to the next booth as if nothing strange had happened. They left me there contemplating my life, and they didn't even buy a print. Ha ha.
Oh
Damn.
my god.
This print is my bestseller. Is this why? I had no idea. I'm rethinking my existence at this print. He told told me he was sending the story, and I followed up, and I asked them, were they hot? And he said no. So, you know, if you're going to send me unsolicited photos, at least be a 10. That's all I'm saying. It's still, please still don't do it, but if you're gonna, at the very least, be a 10.
And maybe ask.
And maybe ask.
Maybe ask first.
That's, you know.
We love consensual kings and queens. I have a 2010 Anime Expo horror story.
Wait, so you were 9?
Yeah, I was 9.
Oh, okay.
About when this happened.
God
A
damn
lot
LA
of things
love
happen
goals.
to you around 9 and 10.
Yeah, a lot of things happened to me in elementary school. So I'm at
Oh.
Anime Expo, and I think it's in like the main lobby area where you first enter. And obviously, I'm with my family because I'm 9. Like, why wouldn't I be chaperoned, right? And we're like walking up the stairs to like go to the, I don't know, whatever, exhibit hall or something. And this is the first time that I have ever seen furries like out in the wild, ever. Or being exposed to
Okay.
furries.
Were you confused, or were you like, "Oh, that's cool"?
You see, when I was a young child, I was very much into animals, so seeing that, I was like, yo, that's sick. I kind of want to do that too. So for the next,
That's how
like,
they indoctrinate you.
yeah, for like the next 7 years, I was drawing furries. Anyways.
More about you,
So
we
up until
didn't
like a couple
know.
days ago.
Sure, you can
Sorry,
say that.
Sorry, my apologies.
I'm watching these two furries, and they're like recreating the act of f***ing. They're literally like one's bent over and the other one is just like thrusting into the other. I'm 9. I don't know what that is. So my mom's like, yo, don't look. And I'm like still like trying to peek. I'm like, what's happening? Like, why can't I see this? Like, I didn't think anything of it. We just carried on with exploring the convention. It was maybe like sometime later during the school year where I had to do like an animal report. At the time, like my favorite animal is foxes. I was reading about their like reproduction
Oh my god.
cycle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it like hit me that that's what those two furries were doing at Anime Expo. And I was like, oh, like the light flicked on.
it
Craziest
connected in your brain.
It connected in my brain, in my puny brain at the time. It was like, oh, that's what they were doing.
That's the craziest way to learn about the birds and bees.
Yeah, I guess so.
This new generation's built different. New York Comic Con 2022. This older, elegant woman approached my table. She looked out of place, in full traditional Indian garb and makeup and all. This didn't look like a cosplay or costume, more like she wandered into the convention center by mistake from a wedding party or some formal event. I need a soda. I'm so sorry, just a second.
He's like a smoker, but like with soda.
I need my soda. Something to take the edge off.
Yeah.
But no, she was there for the convention. She looked at my booth for a long time. After a bit, I asked her if she needed anything or had any questions. Questions? Croissant? Questions. She just stared at me and went back to looking at the booth intensely. After maybe 20 minutes, as other customers have come and gone, she approached the window. She says, I rarely write a name down, very rarely, but I'm going to write your name down. As she proceeds to write something on a small notepad, I stand there confused, not knowing what to say. She then says, I only write artists' names down who impress me. She begins to emphasize how rare this is. She repeated how rare this was multiple times. With what must have been the most confused thank you I think I have ever delivered, I lean over to look at her notepad as I couldn't help myself. There was 3 names written in all caps and nothing else. A very prominent, not safe for work furry artist, a very, very popular, not safe for work artist who's known for drawing underage women. And then me. She then turns away and walks off. Never bought anything. Never took a business card, nothing. Silver lining, I felt as if I had made a very closed off parent proud of me for the first time. I don't know, just the energy she gave off. By far one of my weirdest interactions I've ever had at a con. Not really a horror story, but it stuck with me for years. This is my story.
This is your story.
What?
Yeah. And we were there. You were helping me, but you weren't at the booth when this happened.
Oh my god.
I think I told you about it, but I was just like so confused by the interaction. I don't think I put it into words. But I still think about it to this day. And I'm like, what makes my work like interest somebody who liked those 2 other artists? Oh, also the 2 not safe for work artists, they were not at the show. Neither of them were at the show. How long has she been working on this 3 named notepad? Or I was like, or did she find like some bootleg stuff in the exhibit hall earlier that day? Like, I don't know.
Interesting.
That is so strange.
But yeah, so that is all of our stories for today. If you have any convention horror stories, there is a form down below in the description. Feel free to let us know, and we'll continue doing episodes like this. I also think I'm going to add a second form for client horror stories. And I know that a lot of people who take client work are professional artists and don't want to burn bridges, so you are more than welcome to submit your stories anonymously. And you can have the client be anonymous and yourself, or both, or just one. Totally up to you. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Farewell. Goodbye.